I was 38 years old when my world collapsed. The life I had built with Amanda over 15 years began to crumble beneath my feet. We met in college, fell deeply in love, and created what I thought was an unbreakable bond. Together, we had two beautiful children, Jason and Sarah, aged 12 and 9. Everything seemed perfect until she uttered those devastating words. She needed space and wanted us to be just friends. I still cannot believe it happened to us. Before I continue my story, where are you watching from today? Drop your location in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe to hear more stories that might help you navigate your own relationships. Our early years of marriage were everything I had dreamed of. Amanda and I balanced our ambitions perfectly. She excelled as a marketing executive, while I built my career as a software engineer. We saved diligently for 5 years to purchase our dream home in suburban Seattle, a beautiful 4-bedroom house with a backyard where our future children could play. "This is it," Delmar Amanda had whispered as we stood in the empty living room after closing. Our forever home. Her eyes sparkled with joy as she squeezed my hand, and I believed her completely. When Jason came along 3 years later, Amanda took 6 months of maternity leave. We spent countless nights together, taking turns with midnight feedings, supporting each other through the exhaustion of new parenthood. 3 years after that, Sarah completed our family. Those early years were challenging but deeply fulfilling as we navigated careers and parenthood simultaneously. "We make a great team," became our unofficial motto. Amanda would say it after we successfully managed a family crisis or celebrated a professional win. I never doubted it for a second. The first signs of trouble appeared gradually, so subtle that I initially dismissed them. About 8 months ago, Amanda began growing distant. Our once passionate physical relationship dwindled to occasional perfunctory encounters that felt more like obligation than desire. "Just tired from work," she would explain when I tried to initiate intimacy. "This new client campaign is killing me." I accepted her explanations, wanting to be understanding. Her marketing firm had landed several major accounts, and I knew the pressure she was under. Meanwhile, I had received a significant promotion at my tech company. The new position came with more responsibility and longer hours, which meant less time at home. I tried to compensate by being fully present during weekends and making breakfast for the family before work. Despite my efforts, Amanda seemed increasingly detached. Her phone became an extension of her hand, and I noticed she would turn it face down whenever I entered the room. If I came near while she was texting, she would quickly close the app or switch to something else. When I casually asked who she was messaging so frequently, she would respond with vague answers like just work stuff or catching up with Lisa. Our date nights became less frequent, then stopped altogether. When I suggested dinner at Giovanni's, the Italian restaurant where we had celebrated many anniversaries, Amanda claimed she was too busy or too tired. "Maybe next week, Del," she would say, but next week never came. I tried everything to reconnect. I booked a weekend getaway to the coastal bed and breakfast we had loved when dating. I arranged childcare and prepared romantic dinners at home. I sent flowers to her office and thoughtful text messages throughout the day. Each attempt was met with polite appreciation but clear disinterest. "That's sweet, thank you," she would say, but the warmth never reached her eyes. Then came the changes in her appearance and routine. Amanda had always been attractive and well put together, but suddenly she developed an intense interest in fitness and fashion. She joined an expensive gym, hired a personal trainer, and completely overhauled her wardrobe with stylish, flattering clothes I had never seen before. "I just need something for myself," she explained when I commented on these changes. "Working and being a mom, sometimes I lose track of who I am." Her girls' nights out with friends increased from once a month to weekly occurrences. She would return home later and later, sometimes past midnight, smelling faintly of wine and wearing a glow that I had not inspired in months. One afternoon, while searching for a tax document in our home office, I discovered Amanda had a separate Instagram account I knew nothing about. The profile picture showed her looking more glamorous than I had seen her in years. I resisted the urge to violate her privacy by logging in, but the discovery left me uneasy. The receipts were another red flag. While doing laundry, I found receipts from restaurants in Amanda's jacket pocket, the places she had never mentioned visiting on days she claimed to be working late. There were also unusual business trips to cities where her company had no offices. "Potential new clients," she explained dismissively when I asked. After weeks of emotional distance, I decided to plan a surprise for our 15th anniversary. I arranged for my parents to take the kids, reserved a suite at the Four Seasons, where we had spent our honeymoon night, and bought tickets to a Broadway show Amanda had mentioned wanting to see. The morning of our anniversary, I wished her a happy anniversary over coffee. Her expression revealed she had completely forgotten. "Is that today?" she asked, checking her calendar. "Oh wow, 15 years. That went fast." The lukewarm response crushed me, but I pressed forward with my plans. That evening at dinner, Amanda barely engaged in conversation, frequently checking her phone and offering only brief responses to my questions. Finally, I could no longer ignore the situation. "What's happening with us, Amanda? You seem a million miles away." She set down her fork and looked at me directly for what felt like the first time in months. "We need to talk, Delmar, but not here. Let's finish dinner and discuss it at home." The knot in my stomach tightened as I realized our anniversary would be remembered not for celebration, but for whatever conversation awaited us at home. After putting the kids to bed that night, Amanda and I sat in our living room, the same room where we had made so many happy memories. Now it felt cold and sterile as she delivered the words that would forever change our family. "Delmar, I need to be honest with you." Amanda began, her voice surprisingly clinical and detached. "I have evolved beyond what our marriage currently offers. The romantic aspect of our relationship no longer fulfills me." I stared at her, struggling to comprehend what she was saying. "Are you telling me you don't love me anymore?" She shook her head, seeming frustrated by my question. "No, that is not what I am saying. I love you, but I am no longer in love with you. There is a significant difference." "What exactly does that mean?" I asked, my throat tightening. "It means I have outgrown the conventional constraints of traditional marriage," she replied, as if reciting from a self-help book. "What I want now is a platonic companionship." The phrase hit me like a physical blow. Platonic companionship. We are married with 2 children. What does that even mean? Amanda leaned forward, speaking slowly, as if explaining a complex concept to a child. "It means we continue our partnership without the romantic or physical elements. We remain best friends and co-parents, living together and raising our children, but without the expectations and limitations of a conventional marriage." I felt dizzy, struggling to process her words. "You want us to be roommates. After 15 years of marriage, I would prefer to call it an evolved relationship," she corrected. "Many modern couples are redefining marriage in ways that allow for greater personal freedom while maintaining family stability." As the conversation continued, Amanda outlined her bizarre proposal in more detail. She suggested we continue living together in our family home as friends to provide stability for Jason and Sarah. We would present a united front at school functions and family gatherings, maintaining the appearance of a traditional family. "The children need not know the intimate details of our new arrangement," she explained. "They just need to see that we still care for each other and function well as a parenting team." Then came the most shocking part of her proposal. "Of course, we would both be free to pursue other relationships discreetly," she added casually, as if discussing dinner plans. "Physical and emotional needs could be met elsewhere while maintaining our primary partnership here at home." "You want us to date other people while living together as a family?" I asked incredulously. "Have you lost your mind?" Amanda's expression hardened. "I have given this a great deal of thought, Delmar. This is not an impulsive decision. Have you already started seeing someone else?" I demanded, suddenly connecting the dots of her recent behavior. "Not physically," she replied carefully, "but I have created profiles on several dating apps to explore my options. I wanted to be honest with you before proceeding further." That night, I lay awake for hours, replaying our conversation and 15 years of marriage, searching for warning signs I might have missed. Had I been a bad husband? Had I neglected her needs? When did she stop loving me romantically? The questions tormented me until dawn broke. The next morning, while Amanda was taking the kids to school, I found myself alone in our bedroom looking for answers. I opened her bedside drawer to retrieve a photo album, hoping to reconnect with happier memories. Instead, I found her journal. I knew I shouldn't read it, but desperation overrode my sense of privacy. Inside, I discovered entries dating back more than 6 months, detailing her growing dissatisfaction and her plans for our transition to friendship. She had been methodically planning this for months while I remained oblivious. Even more disturbing were text message screenshots she had printed and kept between her and her friend Lisa. "Most men would be grateful for this arrangement," Lisa had written. "You are offering him freedom without divorce. He gets to see his kids every day and save money. If he refuses, he is being selfish." Amanda had replied, "I know Del. He will accept it eventually. He always gives me what I want in the end." Reading those cold, calculated words was like having ice water poured over my soul. When confronted with the journal, Amanda showed more anger about my invasion of privacy than remorse for her deception. "I have been emotionally disconnected for over a year," she admitted finally. "I tried to reignite my feelings for you, but I cannot manufacture passion that is no longer there." Desperate to save our marriage, I suggested couples therapy. After initial resistance, Amanda agreed, though her body language made it clear she was merely humoring me. During our first session, the therapist Dr. Reynolds listened carefully as we explained our situation. Her expression grew increasingly concerned as Amanda outlined her friendship proposal. Dr. Reynolds said gently, "What you are describing is not typically how marriage evolves in a healthy way. Transitioning from romantic partners to platonic friends while maintaining a household is extremely challenging and rarely successful." Amanda bristled visibly. "Many progressive couples are redefining relationships this way. Traditional marriage is an outdated concept. May I ask what prompted this shift in your perspective?" Dr. Reynolds inquired. "I have simply outgrown the constraints of conventional romance," Amanda replied stiffly. "I value Delmar as a co-parent and friend, but romantic love feels unnecessary and limiting at this stage of my life." As Dr. Reynolds probed deeper, questioning Amanda about when these feelings began and whether there might be external influences, Amanda became increasingly defensive. When the therapist suggested we explore whether Amanda might be using this friendship arrangement to avoid dealing with deeper relationship issues, Amanda abruptly stood up. "You clearly have a traditional bias," she snapped, gathering her purse. "I did not come here to be judged for wanting something different." With that, she walked out, leaving me alone with Dr. Reynolds, who gave me a sympathetic look that confirmed my worst fears: our marriage was in serious trouble. Despite the disastrous therapy session, Amanda insisted we try her platonic arrangement for 2 weeks to see how it feels. I reluctantly agreed, clinging to a desperate hope that she might recognize the absurdity of her proposal once we attempted to implement it. I moved my belongings into the guest bedroom, a physical representation of the new distance between us. Each night, lying alone in that unfamiliar bed, I stared at the ceiling, wondering how my life had unraveled so completely. Our home, once warm and vibrant, became awkwardly silent. We navigated around each other like polite strangers, sharing temporary accommodations. Conversations revolved around practical matters: who would drive the kids to soccer practice, what groceries we needed, whether the gutters required cleaning. "Good morning, friend," Amanda would say cheerfully each day, as if testing out the new label she had assigned to our relationship. The word friend felt like a knife twisting in my chest every time she uttered it. My appetite disappeared. Within 2 weeks, I lost 15 pounds, my clothes hanging loosely on my frame. Sleep became elusive and dark circles formed under my eyes. Coworkers began asking if I was ill, and I found myself unable to focus on projects that had once energized me. Meanwhile, Amanda seemed to be thriving. She planned outings with friends, spent hours at the gym, and purchased more new clothes. She developed a new habit of leaving the house after dinner for evening walks that sometimes lasted 2 hours. She never invited me to join her. Despite our attempts to shield Jason and Sarah from our marital crisis, children are perceptive. One evening, I overheard Sarah asking Amanda, "Why does Daddy sleep in the other room? Is he sick?" "Daddy and I are giving each other space right now," Amanda replied vaguely. "Sometimes grown-ups need that." Jason, being older and more observant, cornered me in the garage while I was fixing his bike. "Are you and Mom getting divorced?" he asked bluntly. "We are going through some challenges," I answered honestly. "But we both love you and Sarah more than anything. That will never change." His eyes filled with tears. "Tyler in my class says his parents started sleeping in different rooms before they got divorced." I hugged him tightly, unable to offer the reassurance he desperately needed because I no longer knew what the future held. The breaking point came on a Tuesday evening. Amanda had left her phone on the kitchen counter while showering. A text notification appeared on the screen. "Missing you already. Coffee again tomorrow, Tyler." My blood ran cold. Tyler, the same name as the parent of Jason's classmate. I had met him at school functions, a recently divorced father who had always been overly friendly with Amanda. When she emerged from the shower, I confronted her directly. "Who is Tyler, and why is he missing you?" Her face flushed with anger, not guilt. "You read my private messages. This is exactly why I need space, Delmar. You do not respect my boundaries." Answer the question, I insisted. Are you having an affair with Tyler Davis? He is a friend, she replied defensively. We have coffee occasionally. There is nothing inappropriate happening. When did these coffee dates begin? I pressed. Before or after you decided you wanted a platonic marriage? Her hesitation told me everything I needed to know. We connected at the school fundraiser 3 months ago, she admitted finally. He understands what I am going through because he experienced similar feelings before his divorce. So he has been encouraging you to end our marriage? I asked incredulously. He has been supporting me while I navigate my authentic feelings, she countered. Something you seem incapable of doing. The next day I met my best friend Jake for lunch and poured out the whole story. Unlike Amanda's friend Lisa, who had encouraged her destructive behavior, Jake provided the perspective I desperately needed. Del, she is gaslighting you, he said firmly. This platonic arrangement benefits only her. She keeps the stability of marriage while pursuing other relationships. Meanwhile, you live in limbo, unable to move forward. That is not friendship, that is exploitation. His words hit me like a revelation. That afternoon I contacted a divorce attorney to understand my options. The consultation was sobering but empowering. I learned about my rights regarding our assets, the house, and most importantly, custody arrangements for Jason and Sarah. That evening, while balancing our joint checking account, I discovered something disturbing. Amanda had been transferring small amounts, $1,000 here, $1,500 there, to a personal account I knew nothing about. Over 6 months, she had diverted nearly $30,000 from our joint savings. The final confirmation of her true intentions came when I overheard her phone conversation with Lisa from outside her bedroom door. The arrangement is working perfectly, Amanda was saying. He is giving me space, the kids are adjusting, and I am almost free to live authentically without the messy complications of divorce. Lisa's response was inaudible, but Amanda's laugh cut through me like glass. Of course, he agreed. Delmar always chooses the path of least resistance. By the time he realizes what is happening, my new life will be well established. Something snapped inside me at that moment. All the confusion, pain, and self-doubt crystallized into absolute clarity. I would not be manipulated any longer. I waited until the following evening when the kids were at my parents' house for their weekly dinner visit. I placed the bank statements showing her secret transfers on the kitchen table and waited for her to come home. What is this? She asked when she saw the papers. Evidence, I replied calmly. Along with documentation of your overnight trip with Tyler to Portland last month that you claimed was a marketing conference. Your company confirmed no such conference existed when I called them today. Her face paled, then hardened with defiance. You had no right to investigate me. And you had no right to betray our marriage, lie to me about your intentions, or steal from our joint accounts, I countered. I want a divorce, Amanda. Not a friendship, not a platonic arrangement, not an evolved relationship. A complete legal end to our marriage. You cannot be serious, she stammered, genuine surprise in her voice. What about the children, our home, everything we have built? I will be filing for joint custody, I informed her. As for our assets, we can either divide them fairly now, or let a judge decide after I present evidence of your financial deception and affair with Tyler. For the first time since this nightmare began, I saw fear in Amanda's eyes as she realized her carefully constructed plan was collapsing. I never meant to hurt you, she said weakly. That might be the first honest thing you have said to me in months, I replied. Pack a bag, Amanda. Starting tonight, you can experience all the freedom and authenticity you desire. From a separate residence. The weeks following my confrontation with Amanda were some of the most challenging of my life, but also surprisingly empowering. I channeled all my pain and anger into constructive action, beginning with securing exceptional legal representation. My attorney Gabriela Martinez came highly recommended for her expertise in cases involving financial deception. Document everything she advised during our first meeting. Every bank transfer, every communication about Tyler, every instance where Amanda prioritized her needs over the family. Evidence will be crucial. I followed her advice, meticulously creating detailed records of Amanda's behavior over the past 6 months. I discovered additional evidence of her relationship with Tyler, including hotel reservations and gift purchases that coincided with her mysterious business trips. Next came the difficult task of explaining the situation to Jason and Sarah. Amanda wanted to present a sanitized version where mommy and daddy both decided they would be happier living apart. I insisted on more honesty. Sometimes adults break promises to each other, I explained gently as we sat in our living room, Mom and I made promises when we got married that are not being kept, which means we cannot continue being married. But the promises we made to love you both forever will never change." Sarah cried and asked if they would have 2 Christmases now. Jason, displaying emotional maturity beyond his 12 years, asked practical questions about where they would live and how often they would see each parent. Through their tears, I saw resilience that gave me hope for their ability to adapt to our new reality. Amanda attempted to control the narrative with friends and family, suggesting I was unreasonable for rejecting her modern approach to marriage. This backfired spectacularly when most people recognized the self-serving nature of her proposal. Even her own sister called to tell me she was appalled by Amanda's behavior. "You deserve better," Caroline told me. Amanda has been listening to some bizarre podcast about relationship freedom that has completely warped her perspective. Throughout this challenging period, my support system proved invaluable. Jake and his wife invited me for dinner weekly, providing normalcy and friendship when I needed it most. My parents, despite their initial shock, rallied around me, and the children offering emotional and practical support without judgment. I also reconnected with friends I had neglected during the tumultuous final years of my marriage. My college roommate Thomas, now a psychologist, recommended a support group specifically for fathers navigating divorce. There I found solidarity with men facing similar challenges, many of whom had already traversed the path I was just beginning. My individual therapy sessions with Dr. Matthews helped me process the grief of losing the future I had envisioned. "You are mourning not just the end of your marriage, but the death of a dream," he explained. "Allow yourself to feel that loss fully before attempting to build something new." Meanwhile, my colleagues at the tech company demonstrated unexpected compassion. My manager restructured my projects to accommodate the demands of single parenthood, and teammates covered for me during court appearances and meetings with Gabriella. The divorce proceedings themselves were less contentious than I had feared. Faced with solid evidence of her deception and the prospect of a judge reviewing her behavior, Amanda agreed to mediation. Her fantasy of maintaining our family home while dating freely crumbled when confronted with financial realities. During our first mediation session, Amanda's attorney advised her to adopt a more reasonable position. "Your proposal for a Platonic marriage while dating others has no legal standing," he explained within my hearing. "The court will view this as wanting the benefits of marriage without the commitments. It significantly weakens your position regarding asset division." I requested 50/50 custody of the children, which Amanda initially resisted, arguing her role as primary caregiver entitled her to greater parenting time. The mediator pointed out that my extensive involvement in Jason and Sarah's lives, documented through school records, medical appointments, and extracurricular activities, supported equal parenting time. Regarding our assets, Amanda's secret account became a significant issue. Her unauthorized transfers constituted dissipation of marital assets, which the mediator warned could result in her receiving less than 50% of our property if we went before a judge. Faced with this reality, she agreed to a fair division that acknowledged her financial misconduct. The family home, once the symbol of our shared dream, was sold. Neither of us could afford to maintain it independently, and the emotional associations made a clean break necessary. With my portion of the proceeds, I purchased a comfortable 3-bedroom townhouse just 10 minutes from the children's school and within the same district. I transformed the new space into a warm, welcoming environment for Jason and Sarah. Each child helped design their bedroom, selecting colors and decorations that reflected their personalities. The 3rd bedroom became a combination guest room and home office, allowing me to work remotely when the children were with me. As the practical aspects of separation fell into place, I focused on rebuilding myself emotionally. I resumed playing basketball twice weekly, something I had enjoyed before marriage but abandoned due to family commitments. I joined a local hiking group, finding peace in nature and forming new friendships with people who knew me only, as I am now not as half of a failed marriage. Most importantly, I recommitted to being the best possible father to Jason and Sarah. I attended every school event, coached Sarah's soccer team, and helped Jason with his science fair project. Our weekends together became adventures, camping trips, museum visits, cooking experiments, and movie marathons. I created new traditions that honored our changed family structure without diminishing its importance. Throughout this journey, I watched Amanda's carefully constructed narrative continue to unravel. Her relationship with Tyler ended within months of our separation when he became involved with another divorced parent. Her supposed desire for freedom and multiple relationships devolved into a series of unsuccessful dates that left her increasingly disillusioned. During one child exchange, I noticed a softening in her expression as she observed the easy rapport I had developed with our children. "They seem happy with you," she commented, surprise evident in her voice. "They are resilient," I replied, "and they know they are deeply loved, which makes all the difference." 6 months after our divorce was finalized, Amanda asked if we could meet for coffee. Ironically, the very activity that had facilitated her relationship with Tyler. She had lost the smug confidence that had characterized her during our separation, replaced by a humility I had never expected to see. "I made a terrible mistake, Delmar," she admitted, tears gathering in her eyes. "I destroyed something precious because I believed the grass would be greener somewhere else. Now I realize what we had was special, and I took it for granted." I felt no satisfaction in her regret, only a complex mixture of compassion and relief that I had escaped a relationship with someone who could so easily discard 15 years of commitment. "I hope you find happiness, Amanda," I told her sincerely, "just as I intend to find mine." Walking away from that coffee shop, I realized how far I had come from the devastated man who had begged his wife not to friend-zone him after 15 years of marriage. The journey had been excruciating but necessary, forcing me to discover strength I never knew I possessed. The most valuable lesson from this painful chapter was the importance of self-respect in relationships. Real love requires mutual commitment and reciprocity, not one person contorting themselves to accommodate another's selfish desires. By standing firm against Amanda's manipulation, I not only preserved my dignity but also showed my children what healthy boundaries look like. Today, I am dating cautiously, open to the possibility of love but in no rush to find it. When it arrives, I will recognize it by its authenticity, mutual respect, and shared values, not by empty words or convenient arrangements. Most importantly, I have found peace in authenticity. The pain of honest separation was ultimately less damaging than the slow death of living in a sham marriage. By choosing truth over comfortable lies, I gave myself and my children the gift of integrity. As I close my story, I wonder if any of you have faced similar situations in your relationships. Have you ever been asked to accept something that diminished your worth? How did you respond? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your story might help someone else find the strength to stand up for themselves. If this resonated with you, please like and subscribe to this channel. More importantly, share it with someone who might need to hear that they deserve genuine love, not a consolation prize of friendship, when they have given their whole heart. Thank you for listening, and remember, sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to walk away.